Tell me about the corpse you pulled from the river, won't you?
I told the old Bill what I knowed. I was sculling near the Whitehall steps when I heard pistol shots. A little later I comes across a fresh stiff floating face down. I put one and one together, hauled him up from the Needle and waited for a copper.
The steps are a good bit west of the Needle, and the tide was running out to sea. You were lucky to catch up with the body.
If you've seen the body, you got an odd notion of luck. The police were satisfied.
Have you done army service, Needham?
I wouldn't say no to the Queen's shilling, but I never fancied work on land.
The Navy, then? You were a sailor?
Never. Bunch of ponces in uniform, couldn't navigate a drainage ditch. Seen 'em struggle in the Deptford Reach, just running with the tide.
Tell me why you took the corpse's shoes. They're obviously too small for you.
Things from the river are like gifts, and a poor man can't afford an exact fit. As he'd lost the need for 'em, I'd figured to lighten his load as he passed over.
Very kind of you, I'm sure. I wonder if they exhaust the items you relieved him of. Forget the fable you told the police. I think you witnessed a crime on the embankment.
I saw naught.
Nonsense. You were close by. With no experience of small arms, you identified pistol shots. Whitehall is too distant to hear distinctly, even over water, and from there you'd never catch up to a body moving on the tide.
That's just talk. You know what they say, talk is cheap.
It depends on the subject and the speaker. The police might find my argument pure gold.
Tin more like, or I don't know, P.C. Roach and Inspector Lestrade.
You have a point. Strangely, the corpse you found had no personal effects. Perhaps some of them found their way here.
You'll never know. Got no rights to snoop. Man's home's his castle.
If you'd prefer, I can bring back a warrant and a load of policemen.
No need for that. I'm guilty of nothing. I didn't shoot the bloke. I kept him from going to sea.
And took a souvenir from the body, Mr. Needham? A remembrance of your good deed?
Go ahead. See what you can find. Nothing worth sixpence, or I'm related to the Queen. Would you mess about with the quality's possessions? Poor man's got no rights.
I'm agog at the items you rescued from the river. True objet trouvé. That tie belongs to the victim. What else of his personal property did you steal? A wallet, perhaps?
What's he care about a useless garment or anything from this world? He's left it. You can't steal from a dead man. No use for money, can't spend it, wouldn't miss it.
Were you a barrister in a previous life, or a philosopher? Maybe you learned that litany from Gaffer Hexam. Don't split hairs with me. Produce what you lifted, or face incarceration.
Search the place, toss it, do your worst, you'll find naught else.
When did you lose your family, Needham?
My missus and daughter died by cholera. I've been alone these 20 years.
I'm sorry. A solitary life is hard. Have you noticed, Doctor, that the East End reduces life to basics?
If you mean it appears a mere struggle for survival, Holmes, I do.
Hobbes was right, I fear. Existence on these terms is solitary, nasty, brutish, and short. I would have expected a hidey-hole somewhere, but I don't spy one.
A place to conceal small objects, as might come from corpses?
Got it in one.
The room is so vulnerable and insecure. He may fear leaving anything valuable behind, even hidden away.
You are a thief, Needham. British justice takes a dim view of robbing the dead.
Get stuffed. I found them items.
If you compel me, I'll have you stripped and searched.
Easy now. There was little enough. A watch and chain, half a crown and 3 pennies.
Unless you'd prefer a cell at Pentonville, it had better be. What you took is of less interest to me than what you know. I mean you no harm, but I intend to know all that you know about this crime.
How do I know you'll play straight with me?
You have my word.
A sign of good faith would be more convincing.
Keep the things you found, Needham. I can't approve your action, but I won't condemn it either.
That's friendly, I think. Ta.
I'd like you to return with us to the embankment. Will you do that?
I've given up everything I have.
I think not. I want to hear exactly what you witnessed, at the Needle, in situ.
Maybe I'll do better with the coppers.
You may think so. I couldn't comment. I promise to be fair.
If there's no other way, I'll go. You're a gentleman until you prove yourself otherwise. We can take my worry.
You witnessed a murder here, Mr. Needham. Tell me everything. No prevarications, please.
It's an habit, and I got reasons I don't mind saying. I'm frightened, Mr. Holmes. These was cold customers.
I'll keep your part in this a secret, Needham. Just tell me the truth.
I'll take you at your word. I just tied up at the Needle to rest, been sculling for hours with nothing to show for it. I'm about to climb the stairs when a voice says,
I'll take whatever you've got.
Oh, I thinks, there's something dodgy, a robbery maybe, but right away a different voice says,
I might have £1 in my wallet, I'll look.
well, I thinks, that's all right then, and I'm about to show myself when the second voice says,
Vincent, what are you doing?
and there's an explosion. And then another. My head's ringing. A body tumbles into the river. I'm shaking. But I peek round the wall. A third man on the landing towers over a bloke holding a pistol. I hide again.
Du bist wahnsinnig.
There's a few hard words. A slap, a scrape, and a splash. Then footsteps moving away. That's it, Mr. Holmes, for true. I went to fetch the body before it got swept downstream.
Tell me about the argument after the shots. What exactly did you hear?
A strange voice says something odd like, dubious fancy, and then a sound like clapping hands, a clank and a scraping sound, quick like, and a splash in the water opposite the bow of my wherry, then footsteps moving away.
What do you recall about the men you saw?
I never seen the victim's face, and when I picked him up, his face was gone. The killer wore a dark coat and hat, collar up, had hard eyes. The third bloke came out of the light. I saw him a little, big hat and cape, yellow beard and some sort of mark on his right cheek.
Thank you, Mr. Needham.
Can I be on my way then? Some good pickings out there.
Just a bit longer. You're an invaluable witness, very observant.
I make my living with my eyes.
Could you find the object that made the splash, Mr. Needham?
Water and me don't agree, Garv. I don't swim, don't even wade, don't drink it, hardly bathe in it.
I've noticed. You won't need to get wet. I want your guidance. Just tell me where you heard the splash.
How bad did you need it?
A guinea's worth?
It's as good as found. If you got the means, I got the will.
Be specific, Mr. Needham. We're looking for a critical piece of evidence.
It's deep in the corner, close to the wall, I'd swear to it.
Do you often tie up on the embankment, Mr. Needham?
Haven't got the habit yet, and there's nothing of value on land for me. But I like the needle, interesting to look at, to think about.
Good job, Needham. Your eye is incomparable.
Nasty things, wet, Mr. Holmes, but dangerous for all that, I'll wager.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Needham. I hope we have no need to trouble you further. This could be instructive, very promising. A mass-produced button is less informative than its custom-made predecessor, but it might mean something to Stitch Rumsey.
You'll wear out your welcome with him. You don't even know the provenance of that piece.
In this light, I can't do much better than the cretinous constable.
You could do better on hearsay.
Perhaps, but there's no need to rely on his eyes. There's some writing on the fob, but I can't make it out.
You need better light.
I'll need a good bit more than that. Everything all right with you, Jonas?
Can't complain, Mr. Holmes. And if I did, who would listen?
Too true. There's so little kindness in the world. Your kindness to Wiggins does you credit, Jonas.
It's little enough. He's led a hard life. He sails too close to the wind from time to time, but he's a good boy for all that.
The mean streets waste 100 like Wiggins every day, Mr. Rigby. You've given him a chance to grow up.
May I live to see it.
The microscope can't do better than my eye. The gold is old, thin and smeared. You might want to open the window, Watson.
If you're going to use acid on the metal, please take care. You remember what happened last time. Very unsettling to hear a woman of advanced years yell that loudly.
The Aqua Regia removed the gold fill very nicely. The engraving is visible. The inscription reads, "To commemorate your majority, 23676. If our victim was a Cambridge man, he probably entered in 74. Return to the hunt, eh, Watson?
As you say, Holmes, return by all means.
Are the rest of your lads available, Wiggins?
They're on holiday at the workhouse. If you've got a job, I'm for it. On the usual terms, of course.
The Telegraph is finally running Friedman's articles on terrorism.
He's learned to moderate his tone, then? I don't defend cronyism, Holmes, but I don't wonder the government distrusted him. He has an incautious and very sharp tongue.
More importantly, Watson, he has a very sharp mind. We may have need of his wide experience before this is over.
I know you respect him. That's certainly enough for me.